retired recently. Mandatory retirement. In Korea, once you hit 65, you don't get a choice in the matter. They usher you to the door and kick you out. And they did me. I checked to see if there was some way, but even though there were 3 of the top departments in the university advocating for keeping me on to teach some of their classes, Human Resources kicked me out. And then they offered me a retirement ceremony, which was bittersweet and I did not particularly like. I certainly did not want. But I got it, so I gave a retirement speech. It's roughly what follows, with some modification for this podcast. So here goes. Good afternoon, friends and family. Papa for the boys here. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the privilege of shaping minds, challenging ideas, and being challenged in return. Why did I do it? Why will I continue to do these things by other means? Why do we choose to train up the best among us to be the face of justice in our countries? Because more than knowledge, to be a law professional in whatever capacity, we believe that the why of life is only the lasting characteristic of a worthwhile life. Living with purpose and meaning is what it's all about. Purpose is found in living for God, as He is indisputably the one that created everything, everybody, us, and all for relationship with Him and with each other. Living with purpose is living virtuously, chivalrously, undergirded with humility and grace, aspiring to lift up our fellow man. As professor, my currency was knowledge, precise, verifiable, and rigorously tested. Whether dissecting psychological theories, analyzing models, or debating philosophical frameworks, I chased the thrill of being technically accurate. But knowledge, for all its power, can only become a sterile pursuit if it's not tethered to purpose. Knowing how people behave doesn't answer the why we're here or how we ought to behave. Technical accuracy, while valuable, is a tool, not a destination. Meaningful lives are fueled by purpose. So where do we find this purpose? It's in living for God. In God we find the highest truths. In fact, He's the only source of love, truth, and goodness that transcends our finite understanding. In some of my classes, we explored this level of existence as living on the level of supererogatories, rather than simply walking the line between legality and illegality. Turning the other cheek, giving rather than receiving, leadership through service, self-sacrifice, all our guiding principle. Living for God means orienting every action, thought, and relationship toward divine purpose, seeking to reflect His grace in a broken world. It's about embodying God's will through our daily choices. How we treat our neighbor, how we steward our talents, how we face adversity. It has nothing to do with weakness, allowing those with ideas other than ours bullying demands of us and allowing them to roll over us. Nor does it mean turning a blind eye to the license people want so badly to give themselves so that they can do any outrageous LGBTQIA plus or other action they can imagine and demand that we support them in that disgusting behavior. We're called to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. That love is complete when it includes an element of correction and advocacy for the redemption of those souls to the magnificent life they were designed to live in the first place. Designed by God. Standing for something rather than allowing everything is part of living with purpose and meaning. We can see the people around us that live lives of purpose because it's not in what they say, but in what they do with their lives that matters, as they are representatives of the Maker. Nor does life of purpose suggest that those with meaning will do no wrong. All of us do things that conflict with our own notions of what is right, appropriate, or good. We all fall, but the falls do not define us. Whether we get up and continue as a child of God does. So what are the remaining characteristics of a meaningful, purposeful life? Well, it starts with cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, fortitude, temperance, as a blueprint for meaningful living. These ancient principles guide us to act rightly in a complex world. Prudence, or wisdom. The virtue of practical wisdom helping us discern the right course of action. It's not just about knowing facts, but applying them that matters. A prudent life treats others as ends in themselves, as Kant puts it, and seeks goodness in itself over the expedient. Justice, often misunderstood as retribution. Justice is about giving each person their due, respect, dignity, and love. I'll return to this virtue later. But for now, know that justice means building others up, not tearing them down. It's about participating in giving the people we encounter the opportunity to be everything they were meant to be. Fortitude. Courage in the face of adversity. Life tests us through loss, failure, and criticism. Fortitude isn't stupid bravado, but the quiet strength to do the right thing, even when it may not be in our own best interests. Temperance. Self-control and moderation, balancing desires with duty in an age of excess, whether in ambition, consumption, or ego. Temperance keeps us grounded, focused on what really matters. Don't drink so much. These virtues are practical. They simply become habits, as Aristotle suggested, that season our every word and action. These are the things that set us apart from everybody around us. To these four virtues we add faith, hope, and love as the foundation for all else that characterizes our lives. Chivalry. Chivalry is a code often dismissed as an outdated, but it's profoundly relevant today. In its medieval roots, it was about knights serving God and others through honor, courtesy, and protection of the vulnerable. Today we add to this list integrity, kindness, and service, regardless of sex or status, ours or that of the ones that we serve. Chivalry means defending the weak, whether it's standing up for the bullied person or class of people, or advocating for the marginalized. In extreme situations, it may mean defending the other with violence if necessary, even at a cost of our own lives or liberty. It means treating others with respect, even when they disagree with us or don't want our attention or deference. Think opening the door for a woman or a person with their hands full of something for no other reason than that servanthood is the core of our being. It means sacrificing self-interest. Chivalry is the outward expression of an inward commitment to serve, reflecting divine love in human interactions. Imagine a world where we all embrace this code. Workplaces would be kinder, communities stronger, hearts fuller. Underpinning this vision, living for God, practicing the virtues, embodying chivalry, is humility and grace. These aren't just virtues, they're foundational for a meaningful life. Humility reminds us that we're not the center of the universe. Knowledge and positions are gifts, not crowns. Humility opens our eyes to others' worth, making us teachable, compassionate, and aligned with God's purpose. As Jesus said in what are called the Beatitudes, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." I'll tell you a secret. If we all humbled ourselves and said, "Thank you," more, even exchange for ordinary acts, the world would be a better place. Grace is the unearned favor, mercy, and forgiveness that we receive from God and must extend to others. It's forgiving the person who hurt your feelings or did you wrong, or loving the stranger that cuts you off in traffic, just to reflect the wonderful grace that has been given us. Let's reflect kindness and mercy to those we have the power and the authority to judge harshly. Be tough on wayward ideas, but always gentle with people. Humility and grace weave through the virtues and chivalry, softening our edges and grounding our purpose. They remind us that living for God isn't about perfection, but about striving, falling, and rising again to strive on with love. Finally, justice, a cardinal virtue often misconstrued. In our world, true justice is about uplifting our fellow man, not settling scores. Vengeance destroys. Uplifting restores. Living for God means practicing this justice daily. It's advocating for fair policies, not just for ourselves, but for those that have no voice. It's seeing every person as God's creation, worthy of lives of dignity. This justice aligns with chivalry's call to protect and virtue's demand for fairness, and humility and grace's softening touch. My days of grading papers and publishing articles may be over, but my commitment to living for God, exercising the cardinal virtues, and embodying chivalry is still in its infancy. I'll constantly strive to find better ways to distribute my time, talent, or treasure, to mentor young people, and to reflect humility and grace in every interaction by different means and avenues. My hope is to leave a legacy not of citations, but of lives touched, hearts uplifted. That's what really matters. To my students, I say, knowledge is a tool, but purpose is your compass. Seek God's will. Live the habits of a virtuous life and let chivalry guide your actions. To my colleagues, I urge, teach with humility, love with grace, and pursue justice that restores. To all I plead, let's redefine justice not as vengeance, but as uplifting our fellow man, building a world where every soul will come to reflect divine purpose. Thank you for this journey. May we all live with meaning, anchored in God, guided by virtue, and softened by humility and grace. God bless you all.